Good evening once again, race fans, as we've got race number 2 here tonight and race number 2 for the season. And this one's going to be at a little bit more familiar track to a lot of these drivers here. Again, a lot of these drivers are going to be competing in this weekend's iRacing Petit Le Mans. But tonight, they're competing in round number 2 for the Core GT Series at season number 9. We just finished with a tight, tough section. Not section, a tight, tough track with a ton of sections that are just really tough to maneuver around here. Really, the biggest section that you really want to take a look at here that's really going to be maybe a trouble spot for these drivers is going to be the S's here at Road Atlanta. It's one that it's back and forth, and you really got to get a good exit on the bottom that you're seeing kind of on the middle bottom portion of your screen right now. That's the exit of the S's. And it's really one where you miss it a little bit, you go a little bit wide. You can catch some of that curb, but you catch it the wrong way one time, and it almost kind of acts like a sausage curb, and it kind of launches you up. You catch a little bit of that kitty litter, and all of a sudden you're going to be catching a lot of that tire barrier, so you got to keep out of there. But once again, Carl Hamrick joining the booth by Joe Sullivan. Joe, Road Atlanta here, this is one that is going to be, I think, a little more fun for these drivers, and it could be a little bit the same. You know, you could have some extra confidence for some of these drivers, and it could be a little rough, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Excited to see these boys here and track that I'm very familiar with and kind of like a little bit. And like you said, the S's are really going to be the hot spot here tonight for these guys, and trying to get through there cleanly, because like you said, if you mess up at the first one, it just sets it all up for the rest. So you have to hit that first one smoothly and kind of get through there, so you can get down to that double right-hander and really get a good run down that long straightaway there.
Well, we are all set. They are done with qualifying, and we got our order already set up for tonight. And it's one thing that's kind of nice about having those interviews in between the races. They're already done. They're already waiting for us over here. So let's go ahead and take a look at our starting lineup here for race number 2 here tonight. And starting on the pole here is not going to be your winner from the last race. It is going to be Jake Browder taking the top spot here with a 118.602. Dominique Ford starting in second. Alan Elwood now in the end of the field here. James Pierce and Mason Smith going to round out your top 5. Looking at the rest of the order, it's going to be Nick Terrell, Kevin Peake, Ricky Renner, Jack Stoneman, Michael Brook rounding out the top 10, and then Jack Peterson, Dave Tilford rounding out your 12-car gold division. In the silver division, it is going to be Justin Kirby on top of the boards. John Nominger, winner of race number 1, going to start in second. Tyler Kokeko, Braden Carlson, Dane Simpson, your top 5. Then Jimmy Covert, Nathan Nickerson, Alan Gullison, and Abiy Vishwasam going to be your 9-car silver field. In the bronze division, it is going to be James Molyneux on the pole, CJ Conklin, Eric Martin, Josh Betts, Tim Thompson, Terry Jansen, and Alex Jaspers. And then finally, in our rookie division, it is going to be Mark Reynolds, Ishmael Alahi, AJ Roderick, Ali Brandel, excuse me, Herbert Pineda, your top 5, Jesse Francisco, Brandon Domingue, Kevin Davis, and Alexander Hamrick for the 9 cars in the rookie class. They are already out there. They are down there. They are pacing. Joe, are you ready? Ready for round number 2?
Carl. I am ready. 37 cars out here. That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I almost...
Like you said, we got 4 different divisions here. Racing is going to be everywhere here
I almost
tonight.
feel like we need to keep it in the blimp view just to get an idea of the magnitude of all these cars out here, but it's fantastic to see. Hopefully, we get a little bit more cars surviving lap number 1, as turn number 1 here can be tough, but get to the top of those S's. The entrance to the S's, keep an eye on it. I think we need to train a camera right there and see how these drivers can hopefully get down a single file or tiptoeing through 2x2 at the top of those S's, because it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough going through there for that first time. But on the front row, Jake Browder missing the first race here tonight, so obviously going to use a drop race for that one, but wasting no time going to the top of the boards. Got some extra practice in the meantime, and it was enough to get him to the top of the boards here. There is a very, very, very slight chance of rain. There was no chance of rain for the first race. Here for this one, I mean, it's the slightest chance of rain that you can pretty much have a 0.9% chance of rain. So that's why I see it's a little bit cloudy here. It's mostly cloudy right now, but we should see these guys with a nice clean race out here, and we're getting ready to fire them off. The pace car is off. They will come down the hill, make that final right-hand corner, and we are racing at Road Atlanta.
So you gotta get through these first couple turns here, as it's always important. Wow, look at all of that.
There's just a little bit going on right now, Joe. And right here, this is gonna be the very important section of the track, and already one off.
That's Kirby. Justin Kirby off track. Looks like it's gonna get back on track cleanly here.
And then the exit down here out of turn number 5. Dominic Ford is gonna get the jump, and then another spin. That is Tyler Kokeko, John Nobinger involved.
You did say that was gonna be a hot spot, right?
Exactly. I'm trying to key on those hot spots right now. And James Molyneux going off track here a little bit as well.
But John's able to kind of keep it going there.
Unfortunately, Molyneux, we'll take a look here in a bit. He had to jump to the pits, so some major damage here. Heading down the hill into turn A, or 10A and 10B. And up and over, coming through the final corner. It is going to be Dominic Ford at the front. James Pierce, Jake Browder, Alan Elwood, Nick Terrell, your top 5. And just some great looks here, some great views here coming through in all of these cars. Certainly getting a few more making it through this time.
Oh, who got one spinning?
I think that was Justin Kirby going off there again. Alexander Hamrick going off. Tim Thompson, look, yeah, Justin Kirby crashing. So we'll take a look back through and see some of the incidents here on lap number 1. And right here at the top.
The grass? Oh, nope, curb.
Ooh. Was that with his teammate, possibly?
Is that Jimmy?
Of Jimmy Covert. Yeah, he might have got close to getting involved with Jimmy Covert there at the top. Dave Tilford had a spell off track here. That's probably the safer way to go.
Oh. Is that James Molyneux over there? Yeah, looks like
that was James Molyneux. Yeah, catching the grass there a little bit. Goes exit stage left, hard impact. And that's why he towed it to pit lane. Actually, that was the first one. Tyler Kokeko just losing it there out of turn number 5.
It looks like John tried to cut it right to avoid him.
Yep. He catches the wall very hard there for your race 1 winner. And then I think this is where Molyneux coming out of turn number 5 and gets taken out there by Tyler Kokeko. I don't think Kokeko realized there was still one more car coming through, and that's going to be a tow for Molyneux. Here is the second incident here with Justin Kirby, and just gets sandwiched out into the wall. Hard impact there from the 78 of Terry Jansen as well. Kirby jumps to the pits. Hamrick had to jump to the pits, and Tim Thompson to the pits as well. Josh Betts, your winner here in race number 1, had a bit of an incident coming into turn number 1 as well. Goes wide.
Hang on to her. Oh no! Oh!
And gets caught there by his teammate. Don't look like too much damage to either of them. And they'll get back going, but actually Brandon Domingue right there gets caught and clipped hard. You got to be careful rejoining the track. Your pole sitter, Jake Browder, just getting involved in an incident. Getting together with James Pierce and spinning around. We'll get back live here, and man, crazy start once again, and then not as many cars involved this time, but certainly some guys having a tow and some rough starts for a few, including your race winners from last races. Now Ford was a bit wide there, but makes it work right now. Top of the boards, it is Dominic Ford in first, James Pierce, Alan Elwood, Nick Terrell, Kevin Peak for your top 5 in the gold. Then running 7th place overall is Mark Reynolds, once again having a good start to the race. His teammate right there behind Ishmael Elahi in 8th place overall. AJ Roderick just a couple cars back, running in 10th. In the silver division, your leader here is Dane Simpson, running 13th overall. Braden Carlson right behind him in 2nd. Nathan Nickerson in 3rd. And then down in the bronze, CJ Conklin trying to have a good race back-to-back here as he leads over Eric Martin and Alex Jaspers. Once again, another hectic first 5 minutes here, and this time it's at Road Atlanta with these lights on and all these drivers going for every little bit of real estate that they can.
Yeah, it's storylines are heavy already. 5 minutes into the race. I mean, your winners from the race we just had, and then your pole sitter having problems, just pandemonium here.
Side by side, Aaron, the S's is always scary. As Dave Tilford, Jake Browder, right there, both getting around to Braden Carlson. And you don't really get a true appreciation, I don't think, for these S's. As Tilford, what a save there by the 12. Until you hop in the cockpit and actually try and drive these cars down through the S's and hop in the cockpit of one of these drivers here and a little bit and show you how crazy and hectic it is as Tilford and Braden Carlson get together, do the double right-hander here. Now Carlson may be losing another spot here as Nathan Nickerson gets to his outside down the backstretch, and the draft certainly does help here. It's a long straightaway heading down from turn number 9 to turn 10. Actually, technically turn 8 to turn 10. But Carlson staying to that inside. Nickerson now going to have the inside for the second half. And he is going to get tapped. And drivers,
that was a good save there,
getting the elbows out here early, and it's already race number 2. So, I mean, these drivers don't want to mess around. As Jake Browder, they're getting around Dane Simpson. It's bad enough if you're one of those drivers that got caught up and had to use essentially a drop race in race number 1. You don't want to go back-to-back, though. You can't have 2 bad races in one lane.
No. At that point, then you have to be flawless the rest of the season. I mean, those are going to be your 2 drop races right there, right? And you can't afford to miss a race for whatever reasons or have another problem like you've had twice tonight. Yeah, but that 74 is on a mission. His elbows are way out, and he's trying to get back up to the front here.
Well, if you think this is fun, you think this is interesting here for Season 9 of the Core GT Series, just wait till this season starts to settle in, as they're running some dry races right now. They got 2 races to start off the season, nice and dry. You can just get all the power down that you really want. That's not going to be the case later on in the season, as there is just about half the season, just about the second half of the season, is all looking like it could be some rain races. As starting off with Interlagos, a little bit of chance of rain, about 5% chance of rain, but then 28% chance of rain right now for Road America. You got 91% chance of rain at Suzuka, another 48% chance of rain at Monza, 90% chance of rain at Spa. It is not going to be an easy season at all. There's going to be a lot of tracks that these drivers know, but do you know it in the rain? And can you handle it in the rain? We're going to find out later in the season, but you've got a battle for like, you know, got to test them a little bit.
You just like to watch these guys just struggle.
Yes.
It's, you know, you got the reputation of always having a hot track and making them slip and slide, and iRacing has rain, and you're like, let it rain, baby.
Listen, if I'm going to be in the booth, I want to see carnage, and that's exactly what we're going to see here this season. Well, we got a battle for the lead here as James Pierce has reeled in Dominic Ford, and 1-2 are separated by 0.2 of a second right now.
Yeah.
The 238 is feeling it and trying to get to the point.
Yeah, he's ready to make a move. He's been right there on him.
We'll go ahead and jump on board with James Pierce and give you a ride down these S's.
It is just flat out through there. I mean, it's fast.
It's a fast section of the track, and luckily for these drivers, these cars can take the curbs pretty decently here, especially going down through the S's. And for the most part, this track, you can take the curbs. It's not terrible. You don't really have any sausage curbs that are just going to absolutely kill you. But like I said, coming out of turn 5 at the bottom of those S's, you can't go too wide, or that car is going to launch on you. It's going to go into the tire barrier. It's going to snap to the left and go across the track and possibly collect some other drivers, as well as Pierce gets right up to the backside there of Dominic Ford, but a little bit of snap on the exit.
That right there shows you what he was just talking about in that post-race interview, where he backs up that corner and lets it coast a little bit. Now, I think that's what he's doing right there, and James is able to run him in like that, but then he has to brake so hard, so then it just kind of loses all his momentum there, right? And then Dom's able to get going out of the turn there and extend that lead out. Because like you said, I mean, a 10th turns into 2-3 tenths very quickly on some of these long straightaways.
Another issue here.
Run this double right-hander.
Quick look here is Ellie Brandel out of turn number 5. I just got done talking about it.
Yep. Oh, is that CJ?
And collects, I believe that was CJ. Was that Michael Brook? Also, I think that was CJ's teammate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Michael Brook, and that car is damaged and damage hard on both.
That's towed in right there.
Yeah. He's going to need a setup change. That setup is not going to work here for tonight. But yeah, Ellie Brandel and Michael Brook towing back to the pits from there. That is a shame for both drivers. Back to the battle up front, and you haven't missed a thing. It is still 1-2 with Dominic Ford, James Pierce. Nick Terrell is another 4.5 seconds back behind this, so it is a 2-car breakaway here at the front. And you got Alan Elwood, Mason Smith, your top 5 in the gold. Over in the silver division, Dane Simpson is leading the silver division over Jimmy Covert, certainly having a better race here in race number 2. Nathan Nickerson and looks like Beavish Vassar just getting a pass done here to move himself into 4th place in the silver. And then Alan Billison falling back a couple of positions on track here, as he's going to fall into 5th position. CJ Conklin is the one that is right there on the screen that just made the pass on Alan. He is leading the bronze division. Alex Jaspers in 2nd. Eric Martin, Josh Betts, and James Mullen all your top 5. Covert now under pressure from Herbert Pineda, who goes to the inside, and right there, that is some good racing. That's some good tight racing, and now little crossover here, and I know your dirt experience, you'd love a little bit of that right there. Little slide job action, little crossover, but this battle is not done, as Herbert Pineda is going to try and let that Mustang eat as much as it can, but just not enough. A little bit of a bump there, little side drafting and a little tap there to Jimmy Covert. And you see right behind him, Nathan Nickerson trying to put the pressure on as well, and looks like Herbert is finally going to get that pass done. Now Nickerson looking to the outside on the exit, opportunistic there for sure, but Jimmy Covert is going to hold him off for the time being. This is a battle for position, as Jimmy Covert right now 2nd place in the silver. Nickerson looking to try and take it away from him going to turn number 1, but Jimmy going to slam the door shut.
Yeah, and Nickerson got a good run coming out of 10B there, and I think he just had to take it because he had such a good run.
Tough break for our race 1 winner in the bronze. Josh Betts coming into the S's. Big snap loose here. And he ends up towing into the pits. So he is not going to go back-to-back tonight, as he was stuck kind of at the top of the S's there. Back to our battle for 2nd place, and
Tim Thompson off track.
Take a look and see what happened to the 05 here.
Oh,
it's going a little bit wide. And lucky for him, it's pretty wide there in the double right-hander. And not sure what happened here. It's taking some time to get back going, and then he finally does get back going. Alex Jaspers having a bit of an incident here through the bus stop, and having a tough way to get back on track. Not sure what's going on here with the 117.
Oh, he's got a pack coming through. He's just letting him through, looks like. Yeah, there we go. And cutting the pits.
So that'll get us back live here, and your best battle on track is for the overall lead. James Pierce closing in again here on down forward. Can he get the pass done? As we are already a quarter of the way through this race, Joe. This thing is starting to fly by, and man, it's been some good, tight racing here, and it really shows. I think you should already have an idea comparing race 1 to race 2 here. Just a little bit more comfortability for the drivers on this track.
Yeah, and you know, I kind of mentioned there in the first race, you know, the manufacturer's kind of all over the board. Different scenario here at this track with these guys. You know, a lot of McLarens, you know, especially in the top 8, top 10, 8 of the top 10 are McLaren. So maybe it's a setup, and then that word got out about that, and these guys are comfortable in this car with the setup at this track.
You know, we're used to seeing this man do a little dominating on Tuesday nights in the Core Xfinity Series, but back out here on the road, and one of the lone non-McLarens at the top of the boards, as like I said, Joe, 7 out of the top 8 and 8 out of the top 10 are in the McLaren, but this man right here in 4th place in the Ford, trying to make this Mustang go fast here tonight, and he's smack dab in the middle of Nick Terrell and Mason Smith in this good battle here for 4th, 5th, and 6th on the track.
Yeah, Mason's right there. He's looking to make a move here. Maybe get a run down through here.
So, Joe, I'm not sure if you have experience in this with, you know, a doubleheader on one of the nights here for a league, but how stressful is it? One, you're starting the series with a doubleheader. 2, if you have a bad race in that first race of the doubleheader, I mean, how much more pressure do you put on yourself and on your driving style for that second race?
Oh, it snowballs, right? I mean, it just adds more pressure to you. But I like how you did the kind of the hard track first, and then, you know, for these guys, it's definitely a more technical track than this, and this Land's probably a lot more familiar. So at least it goes in that direction. You know, you kind of get the hard one out of the way, and then if you did have any problems there, then you kind of have maybe a sigh of relief that it's at least a track that you're familiar with and not as technical. Oh, big crash! Is that Elwood?
That is Elwood.
Oh my goodness.
Take a look what happened in turn 5. Once again, you see you go wide, you catch that kitty litter, and boom goes the dynamite. That is what you don't want to do, and you see that the front of that Mustang is not looking too healthy.
No, it looks like he's going to be able to probably limp this thing around and get to pit road.
I mean, you got to figure if they're on the same kind of strategy here with 2 pit stops, you're close to the 20-minute mark. Maybe you can afford to come in here on this lap and kind of lick your wounds, get that fast repair, and then get back out there. But you see, he is true and well off pace right now.
Oh, that right front is not doing well.
And he is indeed going to bring it in, and that's, I think, the smart move, and hopefully he can make it on one more pit stop from here. But at the front, still a very close battle, but take a look back here. Beavis Shavassim, and it's the Roxy paint scheme, but it's not on the Porsche, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think he heard me. He's going to come in and he's going to change that livery for me. So I appreciate that. Change 4 tires and a livery change on the 08, please. But he's going to bring it in as he was close to battling there with Jimmy Covert. Up here towards the front, this is Kevin Peak, right behind Mark Reynolds. Mark Reynolds, again, leading in the rookie class here. 1.5 seconds over his teammate Alahi in second place. And then AJ Roderick in third in the rookie class drivers. But it's one thing that's nice for these rookie drivers, they get to knock out 2 of their 5 races right there on night number 1. AJ Roderick, I think he might have a few races in already under his belt from other series, running some road courses, so he may be able to kind of graduate out of that road course or the rookie division a little bit quicker. But I mean, again, another good showing here from both Mark Reynolds and Ismail Alahi for their kind of debuts here tonight.
Yeah, I noticed that they were running 1-2 there, and obviously Alahi won the first race there, and he's running right behind his teammate who's in first in that division. So I wondered if, you know, got down to the end here, how much he would press his teammate, right, to maybe go back to back, or just, you know, be a good teammate and you know, let your teammate get one. So it looks like he's opened up that gap though, so, and put a car in between them.
Far off track there as these drivers will head around. As your leaders here. Dom Ford still leading this race, but James Pierce has not left his mirror the entire time. Now down to 2/10 of a second once again, heading into final S, and you wonder about pit stops. I mean, this is very, very tight racing right here, and I think pit stops could certainly shake this battle up one way or another. We'll see how the drivers can handle it. It's a little tough. You got to make sure you're staying to the right, coming out of the top portion of the final corner there to get into pit lane. But then from there, it's just getting it as fast as you can and getting the car wound up as they come out right by a car coming out of pit lane. And track map not on here. We'll try and get it out. There we go. Track map now up there, and you can see where the cars are at, and kind of the same deal here. I mean, you got 30 cars, 7 cars racing. You're gonna fill up a track, and that's exactly what they're doing here again.
Yeah, and speaking of the pit road and trying to pass somebody, just go to the battle right in front of us there, right there. Jimmy Covert and Audi Vishwasham. It looks like Audi was able to get around Jimmy in the pits there. And now with Dom and James Pierce there, let's see if maybe James can do the same thing. Maybe leapfrog Dom in the pit road here.
Well, I think
it should be coming pretty soon.
Bishop Asham saved a little bit of time by not changing the livery, so that is probably what helped him. But here comes Jimmy Covert diving into the inside, and not sure if there was contact there or not, but Covert goes spinning around right in front of your leaders. Both are going to get by, and James Pierce decides to dive into the pits. He's going to try and short pit the 91 here and try and get into the lead. We'll take a look at that one more time here between Covert and Vishwavasan. Try and get a different view here, and maybe get a better view here coming into the corner. Covert just had a nose in there, and oh man, about a foot of netcode in between.
Gross. You know, I think we've kind of seen that in some of these other battles too, where guys on the inside there, we've seen a couple guys spin like that. So, Nickerson.
Nathan Nickerson goes sideways, and again, turn 5 claiming another victim.
Man.
It is I mean, to me, it is arguably the toughest part of this track is turn 5, getting out of there with as much speed. I mean, you're setting up a nice little run down a straightaway to the double right-handers. You got to come out of there with some speed, or you're going to give it up time in the field, but you get it wrong just a smidge, and it can end your night just that quickly, as you see Dominic Ford there lapping Vishwavasan. We'll see if Ford decides to come in at this time by.
Yeah, looks like it.
Indeed, he's going to stay to the right-hand side. You see how fast you're coming in through here. Just a little bit of a kink right there, but then you got to get it wound down by those yellow cones. Now we'll see if James Pierce has enough speed and had a good enough pit stop to try and get to him as he's coming down the backstretch right now. Still a long way to go to get to pit lane and try and take over the lead here from Dom Ford. He's got to get through the S-turn, and then 2 more right-handers just to get to pit lane. So it's looking pretty good here for Mr. Ford to keep the lead once again, as take a look. He's actually just dropping the car right now. Pierce coming out of the final corner. It's gonna be close. Ford now coming out of the pits.
Oh, he gained some time.
And he is going to keep in the lead. But now, can he get those tires up to temp quick enough? And it looks like a lot of these drivers may be taking tires because they got time while taking the fuel to take tires here tonight. But he's got his tires warmed up, as does James Pierce. Can Dom Ford get his tires warmed up quick enough to stay into this nice size gap? He's out of drafting range right now. It's about 1.4 seconds. If he can stay here, he may have a chance to break away.
Yeah, so what's the strategy there? I mean, I know a lot of times you don't think, especially in like 45-minute or hour-long races, tires aren't really a necessity. So is this a situation where you're putting fuel in it anyways and it's taking that much time, so you might as well take them? Or you maybe some of these guys feel more comfortable just taking tires the first time and then maybe not the second time?
I mean, it's really something you kind of have to test out, because every car on iRacing is different, how long it takes to take tires. And you can change tires while you're fueling up. Obviously here in the GT3 cars, you may not be able to change all four of them because they change them individually. So it may be a situation where maybe you're only changing 2 tires, maybe you're only changing 1. Jimmy Covert, another one, and another turn number 5. I mean, we can just keep a camera trained right here, and you see the guy there on your screen. Seem to be pretty happy that Jimmy Covert went around here, and I'm not sure if the guy off here to the right there, he's certainly not a Jimmy Covert fan.
No, he's got green on. So he's a Tilford fan right there. A little yellow, green, yellow.
But I mean, turn 5, it is the place to be if you want to see some carnage. It is absolutely destroying some of these cars here tonight, and it's the problem child here at Road Atlanta. I mean, the S's, of course, you got to worry about the top of the S's, getting into them and getting through the S's. Once you're kind of in the S's, yeah, it's back and forth, but it's, unless you got a really loose car, they're really not that menacing going through the S's. It's really the top right here getting in, that hard little right-hander getting into the S's. But turn 5, exiting the S's, has been a killer tonight for some of these drivers, and we'll keep an eye here on CJ Conklin.
I think he'd rather you not, Carl.
I mean, it's
that section right there.
It's unbelievable how many cars we've lost here out of turn 5. It's like something happened here to Nick. I want to say Nick Nickerson, Nathan Nickerson, coming into the chicane and just losing on entry. I mean, that's another section right there that we see cars that are a little bit more on edge step that back end out going into the S's here more often than coming out. But up here at the front, James Pierce has reeled in Dominic Ford ever so slightly. It's down to 1 second. It was up there in 1.4 when it came out of the pits. It is down to 1. So we'll see if he has what it takes to run him down. We'll take a look back a little bit further. Battle brewing here between 8th place Jake Crowder and 9th place Ricky Renner.
No, I haven't done too much at night racing, and we kind of started in the daytime, and now we're transitioning. Does what kind of challenges does that have for these drivers?
Well, the biggest thing, I mean, obviously the biggest change in grip that you can have is go from a dry race to a wet race, or vice versa. But the second biggest is track temperature. You'd be amazed how much track temperature, absolutely 100%, you can feel. You can feel when that track temperature is rising. You can feel when it's dropping. Obviously, getting into the nighttime here at Road Atlanta, the track temperatures are starting to drop. They're starting to get a little bit cooler, so you're starting to get a little bit more grip. Now on a car that was a little bit neutral, maybe you're getting a little bit more front-end grip, and it's actually turning into an oversteer car, and you got to watch that back end for coming out. A car that was a little bit tight to start with, maybe now you're finally starting to feel that thing have a little bit more grip and be a little bit more neutral and better handling. But you can feel these temperatures dropping on the track. It's the biggest thing that I experience, at least, and talking to Jimmy Covert, one of my teammates, for the Petit Le Mans that are coming up this weekend. It's one of the biggest things that you feel, absolutely 100%.
And I mean, it's just like the sun's gone, so right, so all that heat that's just been pounding down the track starts to dissipate, and you kind of, I don't know if you can. I mean, as the night progresses here, I'm sure the lap times are going to go down as well, and you kind of see that be the benefactor of that.
Yeah, James Pierce, last lap there, running the fastest lap of the race with a 1:18.70, and that's not the way to go through turn number 1 for Ricky Renner. Goes wide and definitely got some damage on that front right, or sorry, front left. Back up to the front. Once again, Joe, we got a battle. This is not just going to be a walk in the park for Dom Ford here in race number 2. James Pierce has reeled him back in to about a half a second now. How much of this is Dom just controlling this pace and just letting him kind of catch up a little bit, saving a little bit of fuel? I mean, we've seen this more often than not in the GT4 series, and again, certainly to the disliking of some of the other drivers, Mason Smith and Dave Tilford there in the series that are trying to get up there and pass him. But you're seeing, if you're taking a look at the timing and scoring tower, you're seeing green and purple times, right? Like you mentioned, these drivers are starting to run the fastest laps of the race in their division, fastest laps of the race that they've run here tonight individually. It is getting faster out there. The track temp is down to 71 degrees right now, and it's just going to get cooler in the second half of this race as we are already into that second half.
Yeah, and it's kind of, you mentioned GT4, but also kind of like what we do on Tuesday nights with CSRL, Craig, managing that gap over whoever may be in second, Colin a lot of the times, or Ciniani, just trying to maintain that gap, right now as we get to approaching about 10 minutes away from the second pit stops here.
Battle for the inside the top 5 here in the silver division as Tyler Kokeko not able to make race number 1, but he's out here in race number 2 and battling with the bronze champion from last season, Alan Billison, certainly having a better race here tonight, running in 4th in race number 2 here, trying to hold off the hard charge number 37 right there as we go through turn 1. A good rotation through there as Kokeko in one of the lone Lamborghinis out here tonight. Looks like 2 of them, I believe. Looks like him and Nathan Nickerson, the only ones in the Lamborghinis out here tonight. But a bit of a bobble there from Gullison. Both will survive turn number 5.
Yeah, and we have almost every car covered here in this race. It looks like, except for one. Oh, no, I see one. No. No Ferrari again, right?
Yeah, I don't see any Ferrari, and I don't see any. Okay. We do have one Audi, as Jack Peterson.
Yeah, I seen the one Audi, yeah.
And the lone Audi out there, and no Mercedes. I haven't seen no Mercedes in either of these races as well. And I almost forgot about that one, but predominantly it is McLaren at the top, and how much so? The top 8 right now, overall. Your top 8 overall are all in the McLaren, so it is certainly the car of choice. We'll take a look at the overalls right there, and well, that is the gold division. That is not the overall. Let's get the correct one up here. There we go. Here's the overall, mixing in Mark Reynolds and Ismail Alahi, and tight battle here going through some of the traffic there, going through Jimmy Covert as nightfall is starting to set in here at Road Atlanta, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's one thing seeing 37 cars out here on track. Once these lights start coming on, it's a cool look, man.
I mean, racing under the lights is,
it's where it's at. Right? I mean, it's where it's at. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Now we say that as oval drivers on the road.
Yeah.
On the road, it can get sketchy. Now, Road Atlanta is one of the tracks where it's got a little bit more lighting than some other road courses. But yeah, I mean, it can be daunting for your first couple times especially if you're in a 12 or 24-hour race and you haven't been in the car the entire time, and then all of a sudden your first stint, it's pitch black. It's scary.
Yeah, so that's one of the challenges. I think I did do a Sebring race at night once, I believe. So, and it's not too bad, but some of these tracks. And I guess I did the mountain in the night one time too.
Bathurst.
Yeah, Bathurst, and
that I would not want to do. That you keep.
Exactly.
Bathurst and Nürburgring at night. Oh, that's what nightmare fuel is made of right there.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine the Nürburgring at night. Like as big as that track is, and as probably, I don't want to say boring, but like,
oh no, not at all. and I've done it at night in the Nürburgring 24-hour. It is, I mean, it's one of those tracks though. It's 15 and a half miles long. It's 150, 160 some corners. It's ridiculously huge. But once you've driven it, you know, for a few hours, you start to develop that muscle memory. You start to develop that feel for how the track goes. And I don't want to say you settle into a comfort zone, but if you have enough laps on there, you get at night, you're still looking for your braking points and your turn-in points, which are a little bit harder to find in the nighttime, but you still have a better idea of what's going on. But if you don't have any experience at the track and then you jump in at night, you're done, you're cooked.
Yeah, I mean, because the visibility goes down, right? Obviously with the lights and stuff, and then once you start missing your zones by, you know, a certain amount, then it just can get, you know, treacherous really fast.
Well, make it treacherous
where it's not much to see or to look at, you know, just kind of out in the open. It probably gets a little daunting from time to time.
I was gonna say, what might get treacherous here was they were coming up on a few lap cars here. The leaders were, and they were doing some battling. But luckily, they kind of straighten out before they get there. It's still a very, very tight battle here at the front. Now, you want to talk about a battle? How about a battle between teammates here? Jake Browder, Kevin Peak, 6th and 7th in the gold division, and 7th and 8th overall as Browder makes the pass but goes a bit wide. Now Peak gonna get back to the inside. He's gonna fall in line behind his teammate Elahi right behind these guys watching the battle. This is tight for 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yeah, and he's back there, I mean, wanting to try to get around these guys and get back to his teammate. Speaking of, I don't know, I thought that was his teammate.
Yep, I thought for a second it was it too, but nope, not the case. Now, down the backstretch, this is some of the closest we've seen. James Pierce, 0.15 seconds behind Dom Ford. Does he look for a pass? He's got a lap car up in front, and that is the 421, I believe, of Michael Brook, involved in one of the earlier incidents. As they get very close coming down, up and over here, and you got to be careful going too wide through the final kink here, but the drivers will make it through. And another lap led here for Dominique Ford, as it's now 38 minutes into race number 2 here. And I mean, what you're looking at on screen is what we've been seeing the entire time. It's been 2 cars breaking away. They are 4 seconds ahead of Nick Terrell in 3rd place, Mason Smith in 4th. But these two have been the class of the field, and they have not left each other's side the entire time.
Ooh,
big bobble there.
And looked like he almost was another victim of turn 5 there.
I mean, I feel like we may need to make some T-shirts for these guys after the race. I survived turn 5. I mean, it's or some ribbons or something.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it's crazy. It's and did we have another one here
for Ricky? Yeah, this one's unfortunately gonna.
Coming into the pits, and that is not the way to come into the pits. And little turtle soup for Ricky Renner.
Not how you want to get on TV.
No, not at all. These guys have had plenty of TV time right here. Dominique Ford and James Pierce 1st and 2nd. And I mean, really, we looked at the last race and it was kind of scattered. He had some silver guys up at the top, and he had the couple rookie drivers up there in the top 10. In this race, the top 11 is made up of 9 gold division drivers, and the only ones not up there in the battle in the top 10. Michael Brook back there in 24th place overall. Ricky Renner back there in 29th now with that incident, and Jack Stoneman in at 34th. Stoneman really not having start to his gold career that he wanted to have. But Mark Reynolds, once again, is having another fantastic race. Hopefully he can keep these guys at bay this time and keep the mistakes to a minimum, as he's running 5th place overall and looking to really have 2 good races to start the season. His teammate not too far behind, winner from the rookie division in the first race, and now 2nd place here tonight in race number 2. In the silver division, Dane Simpson has got Roxy up here in the lead, and by a nice little margin over last race winner John Nominger, 7.7 seconds over Nominger in 2nd place. Tyler Kogeko in 3rd. Then down in the bronze division, CJ Conklin having a good race. The 17th place overall is not too bad here for a bronze driver. So CJ doing a good job in 1st, Eric Martin in 2nd, and then Josh Betts in 3rd. This looks like the 2nd round of pit stops are starting to commence here, Joe.
Yeah, that's a good battle back for John there to come back up to 2nd, and Joshua Betts to come back up into 3rd from having their troubles early in this race. So, you know, I did look over at one point and seen John was back to 2nd, and it was a little over 10 seconds at that time. So he's been reeling in Dane slowly. In these last couple of laps, he's been faster than Dane. So with still 20 minutes left, a little under 20 minutes left in this race, I believe John's got some time here. Looks like he's on pit road. No.
Yeah, no, he's not. No. And John Nominger's still out there on the track. Alan Elwood and Jack Pearson coming into pit road this time by.
It throws me off when it showed feet there. So I thought usually when it does it, I think that means pit road, but I guess not.
Usually it does, but yeah, it could be because it's a little bit of a funky entry here to pit road for keeping it close. They may just register it for a brief second, thinking that they're going to go into pits when they're actually not. But I mean, you look at the gaps here for the divisions.
Oh, you're pretty smart.
I try every once in a while. A little quick here and there. But CJ Conklin, 1 lap lead over Eric Martin. And I mean, you know, CJ obviously still has to come in and make his pit stop, but Eric Martin now in the pits right now himself. So CJ is in a really good shape here to grab a win here in race number 2. Joshua Betts having the issues there on lap number 1, but battling back in 3rd place right now. So good job there in the bronze. Dane Simpson is stretching out that lead here once again, 8.5 seconds now over John Nominger in the silver division. In that rookie division, 2 teammates at the top, Mark Reynolds and Ismail Alahi in the top 2, and they're kind of really just the top class of the field right there. Herbert Pineda in 3rd place, but he is a good distance behind him. And then looking right here at the battle for 1st and 2nd between Dom Ford and James Pearson. I guess it really hasn't been a battle. It's just been 2 guys just kind of running around here at the fastest laps on the track and just, you know, enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, obviously they both got a similar pace here, so I mean, I think if you're James, obviously you kind of want to be leading right now, but there's no real need right now, right? It seems like a guy, you know, where you're just hunting your prey and seeing what he's doing, and you got a lot of time here. I mean, so we have a little 15 minutes left to go, and a pit round cycle here, so still plenty of time, and maybe he's just doing some recon, and whether he's leading right now or not, the most important lap to lead is the last one. So,
well, what's nice for both these drivers is they don't have to worry about their opposition being in a different vehicle, where, you know, that different vehicle maybe has a little bit more top end speed and better on the straightaways, or one that rotates better through the corners. They're in the same make and model. They're both in the McLaren, and they know exactly what each other has in regards to the car itself. It's all going to come down to the driver. Which driver is going to be better? As top 2 in the silver now, Dane Simpson, John Nominger into pit lane, making their final pit stops. As Joe, we're coming up on 3/4 of the way done with race number 2, and man, this one just really seemed to have flown by.
Yeah, seems like our Tuesday nights, right, with CSRL, it's like I mean, those are 45 minutes long, but we get the race started, and there's kind of a little bit to unpack on lap 1, 2, And then we get through that, and then there's just action all across the track, and good battles like this. I mean, we've just been so lucky to watch Craig and Colin, or Craig and Siviani, guys like that on Tuesdays, and now I'm going to watch Dom and James here, so good battling going on here tonight.
Well, as we get towards the end of this race, I think it's time to crank these boys up again one more time in the 7 race number 2. And give everyone out there in CRN Nation a little love to hear it. there's a lot of times when we jump to Barney up here in the flag stand, and you know it's a cool looking view. But man, watching these GT cars fly down out of the top there through turn number 12 flat out, it's a cool sight here, especially under the lights. Seeing these cars under the lights here at Road Atlanta. But it's great sounding too. I mean, it's one thing that you get here in the GT series with these GT3 cars that you don't get on your ovals, you don't get on your dirt tracks, you don't get on your dirt road tracks, you don't really get anywhere else other than in some of these the GT4s, the GT3s. You get to hear the different sounds of these engines when you go from the McLaren to the Ford to the Audi, the Porsche, Lamborghini. It's so great to listen to the different engines just roll through these tracks.
Yeah, it's one of the things that attracts guys like us to racing, right? I mean, if these sounded like I don't know, something not what they sound like, it would be a little less appealing, right? But the sound of race cars is the sound, and fortunately, iRacing needs to work on the smell part, so we can get kind of some of that too. So
we need 4D racing.
Yeah. We need a little bit of that, because that's another thing. Like, I mean, freshly cut grass. I mean, the smell of burning rubber, or the smell of these engines, the exhaust of it and everything. I mean, it's just. I did do a lot of dirt track racing, and just the smell walking through the pits on race night is just one of those smells that you can just pull out and you know it immediately.
Yeah, one of the things that the type of racing that I love to go see, I haven't done it now in a couple years. I definitely miss it. Is going to see the Roll of Outlaws at Williams Grove, and you get to go across the track into the infield, so you're right there on ground level watching the cars go by, and it's great just by itself, just watching the cars rip by at 120 miles an hour and still going 100 miles an hour through the corners. But it's what you say, it tickles all five of your senses. I mean, you get to see him, you get to hear him go by. I mean, the sounds is phenomenal, but the smell, the feel, I mean, you feel the cars. It's just funny. I mean, my dad used to always say you feel every hair on your body shake when the cars go by, and that's exactly what the case is. The smell of the alcohol and the tires screeching going through the corners, even though it's on a dirt track, it's great. I mean, say what you want, racing is beautiful.
Yeah, and I did do racing quite a bit for a long time, and then kind of just didn't go to a racetrack for a long time. And then I was there recently at a World of Love show over here by the Kansas Speedway, and just walking through the pits and feeling all five of those again was just.
It takes you back.
It took me back, and just like
you feel like a little kid again.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you do. It hits you all at once too, and all five of them. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you feel it too. I mean, it's just you can feel the rumbling of the cars going by, or of the engines, and some of these guys get to experience that inside the car, from time to time. And it's a very beautiful thing.
Well, what is beautiful here for the 91 is he is looking at back-to-back wins to start the season. He had 7 wins last season. He started the season with back-to-back wins. He's looking to do the same. He had to fight off a very hungry James Pierce in the 238 as he was right behind the entire way, but pit stops tell the story as Dominique Ford taking only 9.75 seconds in his pit stall, where James Pierce took 12.02, and that is the gap now. It's a 4.2 second gap. It's been a lot more comfortable since the second pit stop here for Dominique Ford at the front here, and we're coming down to the final couple laps here. It should be possibly 3 to go, if not 2 to go here at the line this time by, but a nice comfortable margin here for Dominique Ford. In the silver division, it's gotten a little bit smaller. It's gotten under 5 seconds, but it's still right thereabouts for Dane Simpson, and looking to grab a win here under the lights here. Roxy looking to do her dance here on the top step of the podium here in the silver class for Dane Simpson. John Nomier running in second place Over in the bronze division, CJ Conklin has still got the 1 lap lead here over the rest of the field here in the bronze division, and over Eric Martin in second. So he's just going to keep 4 tires on that pavement for the last couple laps here, and he's going to grab himself a win here in race number 2. Over in the rookie class, Mark Reynolds still in 5th place overall, and these rookie drivers come in here, both Reynolds and Alahi, showing that they're worthy to get up here and mix it up with these boys, as Alahi finishing in the top 5 in race number 1, and Reynolds looking to do so here in race number 2, and Alahi not doing too bad himself here in the second one here in 8th place overall right now. So good job by these rookie drivers out here tonight. But it's been all number 91 here for both these races here, and we'll take a look at the starter cam as we come on by, and still going to be 2 laps to go the way it looks here. And actually these lap times have come around here, maybe still going to be 3 laps to go, but either way, the way Dom Ford has been driving here tonight in both these races, and he is putting a scare to the rest of this field here for the season.
Yeah, Pierce was able to gain quite a bit of time on that lap. I mean, over a second. I don't know. Yeah, that was over a 1.3 gained.
Well, do we have a situation that we talked about in that first race? Did Dom Ford expect to have 1 less lap here, and all of a sudden he's realizing he may have an extra lap here, and he's got to save because he's under 2 seconds, like he said. Pierce is coming, and maybe because Dom Ford is having to save him. You see the gap right there on the screen. It's closing in.
Yeah, because I brought that up in the last race, because I don't know. So do they just take the average lap time? So like we're about a 120 here. So if there were 130 left in the race, then that's not the white flag? Is that kind of how it's?
Correct, yes.
Okay. They just use like the average lap? Yeah,
I forget exactly what it goes off of. I think it's basically on an average lap. It's not like it's going by the best lap. I think it's on some type of average lap. And yeah, I mean, you see right now we're going by. We still got 2 minutes left of this race. So it's 2 laps to go here at Road Atlanta. We're not getting the white flag this time by, and the lead is down to 1.8. James Pierce has got the bit in his mouth, and he wants to get back up there and have a battle.
Well, it would be interesting if they did do it kind of how like soccer does. You do the hour, and then it's...
you want extra time?
We need a +7 minutes. And everybody's like, oh, man. And you got to figure out the fuel situation from there, but that would throw a wrench in everything. But, you know, just watching this race and the race before, man, it would be awesome to see. I mean, obviously we do the CSRL stuff. It'd be awesome to see somehow, you know, the top drivers from there and top drivers from here kind of battle it out. That would be a really fun race to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we've had it before, and this right here is the battle for the lead. You see the flashing lights. That is James Pierce all over the backside here of Dom Ford. He is closed in. It is 0.4 seconds coming down here. I don't think we got the white flag just yet, and no, should be getting it this time by, unless Barney's asleep at the wheel. But this thing is not over. Dom Ford is in fuel save mode the way it looks. You see right there Barney waving that white flag. 1 more lap to go, but all of a sudden we got ourselves a race.
Man, oh, here we go. Oh, I thought he was going to have to...
And now, I mean, the way it sounds, James Pierce is having to save as well. I mean, he is not exactly just going on by him right here. He is kind of clutching in here. He's saving maybe a little bit here, too.
And they only got about a little over 3.5 seconds on Terrell in 3rd.
It's down to 3 seconds right now.
Ooh. Are they both saving?
I think they are absolutely both saving right here.
2.5, 2 seconds.
I mean, I don't know what's going on here. I'm scratching my head. Here is Nick Terrell, and he doesn't look like he's saving at all, as he is flying right now, trying to catch back up, and he is there. Wow. He is there. Right here is the lead. And are they just doing this Le Mans style, where they let the top 3 close in and come across the line together? That's the only thing I can think of at this point, but you got some other guys that are looking to maybe get around here, but
Yeah.
I think that's really what they're doing here. They're just they're just finishing this up Le Mans style, and they're coming down here in order. And there you go at the line.
Wow.
It is Dom Ford that is going to take it home. He brings everybody back together, and then James Pierce takes him out afterwards. That probably going to have to be looked at in regards to some X's as far as bonus points. But Dom Ford getting it done here tonight. James Pierce, Nick Terrell, Mason Smith, and Jake Brown are going to be your top 5 here in the gold division. Mark Reynolds going to finish top 5 overall. Ismail Alahi going to finish in 8th place overall. Those are your top 2, and the rookie division with Herbert Pineda finishing down there in 17th overall, but 3rd place in regards to rookies. Dane Simpson going to come around the final corners here. He's got a 10-second buffer over John Nobinger, so he is going to get the win here in the silver division. Nobinger going to finish 2nd. Tyler Kokeko, a good run here, finishing 3rd. And Alan Gullison, we talked to him before race number 1 as the bronze division champion from last season. A good and respectable 4th place here in the silver division after having to move up this season. And then CJ Conklin getting it done here tonight as he does it in dominating fashion here. Obviously Eric Martin having some issues, but Conklin going to win by a lap over Eric Martin. And then James Molyneux, how about the 94 there, grabbing a podium here in race number 2. Man, I know these drivers got to be spent after these 2 races. It was tiring up here in the booth, just watching all this action go on and questioning what was going on here at the end. And it started to make sense as they're coming through the final corner, since everybody kind of grouped up there together. But what a night, Joe.
Yeah, I was. I guess that finish is something that happens. Or were they just, I guess, conceded each other? Right
Yeah,
there?
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
They're just kind of
okay.
just getting up there and coming across the line together. Just something that they do at times. Yep.
Okay. I'm unfamiliar with that, so that doesn't happen in oval, to my knowledge. So
no,
never. That is pretty cool, though. That's a lot of respect, right? I mean, just to your fellow drivers, to your fellow competitors, and hey, good battling out there. Let's finish this thing together and show some respect to each other.
Man, yeah, I'm kind of almost out of breath after this one here tonight. This was a good one for quite some time between Dominique Ford and James Pierce before that final pit stop really kind of threw everything out of whack there for James Pierce. And I'm not sure if he took some extra fuel or if he decided to take tires and Ford decided not to, but it was Ford going back to back here tonight and really setting a statement here for both the gold and the overall. But I mean, the overall here in this race really dominated by gold division drivers and by the couple rookies there with Mark Reynolds and Ismail Alahi, who could end up being gold drivers as well. But I mean, the top 11,
yeah.
The top 11 right there, all potentially gold drivers is pretty amazing, and it shows you that the formulas there from Dave Tilford are working out pretty well.
Yeah, oh, of course they are. I mean, just a great show of talent here too tonight, right? I mean, the battle that James and Dominique had there for most of this race, just putting on a show for us and battling back and forth there, and able to. It's unfortunate that James had a little bit of slower pit stop, and that ended up being the difference in the race, but because I'm sure that would have been one heck of a finish, as we thought it was going to be, but either way, it was a good race here tonight, and I'm sure a lot of these guys are, like you said, pretty pooped out and ready to call it a night.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a mini endurance couple of races here for these guys here tonight. But let's go ahead and start bringing them in here for their interviews, as we got 3 of the 4 just waiting for CJ to hop into the waiting room here. But we'll go ahead and do it in a bit of reverse order from the first race, and we'll start with Dom Ford in this one. And Dom, back-to-back to start the season. I know you have the pace. You certainly can do it, and I'm sure that's what you're looking forward to doing here in the first 2 races here tonight. But now that you've completed it, do you get to finally breathe a little bit? I mean, it's a heck of a start to the season.
Yeah, season one. It feels a little bit unreal, but I'm happy that this doubleheader is over and we got no more. So, like you said, I can breathe a little bit and relax. But it's always fun racing this week, and I have a blast racing with these guys. And that last lap was pretty crazy. They were convincing me so much to try and do it. I was like, all right, fine. But we got the photo up at the end, so I thought that was a pretty sweet little ting on the end of the racing. But congrats to James and Mason and all of 2 and 2. I'm excited to go back and watch the race like always. And yeah, it was a pretty smooth race so far. I just did it I kind of always do, I guess, right? To save some fuel and try and win the race.
Well, it worked out, and that's what we thought at first when you guys were kind of closing in on each other there. I thought maybe you were expecting that the race to end maybe a lap earlier, and you really had to save some fuel, and then James caught up to you and did make the pass. I'm like, well, either they're both saving, and this is really strange, or I think I know what's going on here. And
yeah. It wasn't the photo op. Actually, we and James were thinking about fighting each other, but we ended up didn't because for some reason maybe I just saved more fuel than him, but I had 2 laps extra. And then I had 3 laps extra the second time we pit, so he's like, it's not worth fighting. Because I mean, by the time I come out the second time, I was like, I think 2.5 seconds ahead of him, so it's like, it's not really that worth it. And then we decided to do that at the end, get all of us together and do a photo up at the end, so that was pretty cool. But no, I had plenty of fuel to finish the race. I had like an extra lap.
Well, you get it done here tonight. Back-to-back wins. You started last season with back-to-back wins, and obviously it turned into a championship. I know it's far from over, and we have 2 drop races, so even guys that weren't here tonight, you never know what can really happen and turn out. But it can't really turn out any better than for you here tonight, grabbing both the wins here. So congrats on both. We do want to give a shout out to one more time before we let you go.
Again, shout out to you guys on the broadcast. I'm excited to go see if I can watch that last lap to see you guys' reaction on that. And shout out to all of 2 and 2, James, Nick, Mason, even Tyler's here tonight. So shout out to them, shout out to Pulse and sponsoring the team, and just really putting on a good race. I think everybody did pretty good tonight. And we're good with traffic, and people are learning, and today was a really good night, so I don't really have much to say.
Well, you did all your talking on the track. I think that was really all you need to do. So congrats again on the wins here tonight. We'll let you celebrate and get a little rest, as we'll just go back to the single race racing next week.
Yes. Thank you. It's pretty late. You guys have a good night.
You too, buddy. That's your winner here tonight in both races, but mainly here in the second race here at Road Atlanta in the Gold Division, the 91 of Dominique Ford. First place in the Silver Division is going to be Dane Simpson, and a heck of a battle for him as the 96 is going to come home in first. Joe, why don't you go ahead and take Dane?
Hey, Dane, you got a copy? Dane, we get you?
Looks like we're having some issues here with Dane. We'll jump back down here. We'll try and bring him up here in a second. So instead, Joe, why don't you go ahead and take our winner here in the Bronze Division, CJ Conklin in the 172.
Hey, CJ, you got a copy?
Yep.
Hey, man, talk us through your race there. You were able to come away with the win here in the second race of a doubleheader. Are you wore out? Are you ready for bed?
Well, I'm getting ready I was preparing for the Petite Le Mans this weekend, and I actually was at the Petite Le Mans real race last weekend.
Oh, so you got all kinds of exposure. You're going to be getting some more laps in here after the race, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be running the LMP2 for the 10 hours. So this was good, and I love this track. This was the very first track I learned in road racing.
So what is it like doing a doubleheader after, kind of a more technical track to begin with, and then more of a track that you're kind of comfortable with, and it seemed like the field was a little more comfortable with. Talk about the struggles of doing that.
Yeah, the first track I actually just learned this week, so it was a little difficult with those 2 chicanes. And then also driving a new car for me is the Mustang, because last season Was lucky to get into McLaren, and I was Corvette. I'm actually gelling with the Mustang pretty well this year, so that'll be my go-to car.
Oh, right on. You get to win here tonight. Good start to the season. I know the first race didn't go very like you wanted to, but you get a win here to start the season. And before we let you go, anybody want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Just my wife and the whole racing crew, the speed endurance team, for lots of training and running laps.
Right on. Well, congrats, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks.
That is your winner here in the bronze division for race number 2. The 172 is CJ Conklin. Looks like we do have the mic now working here for Dane Simpson here in the 96. So, Dane, do we have a copy this time?
Yeah, I got you this time.
There you go, buddy. Well, congrats on the win here tonight in the silver division for Road Atlanta. I mean, this is a fun little track to get around here, and good to see Roxy out there dominating, especially under the lights here. What's it like in these night races here, especially with so many cars out there? I know it's a beautiful sight to see up here in the booth, but it gets a little crazier when you're running around so many cars here under the lights.
Man, the first the 2 starts tonight were both absolutely wild, but it's a lot of fun out there under the lights on this track. And even though it's just headlights, basically, there's not stadium lighting like a lot of places. There's still enough. You can see all your brake marks and everything like that. There's not a lot of places where you can't see some of the vital things. The only thing that's maybe a little bit difficult is making your way through the S's there.
Yeah, and it seemed like turn 5 was just absolutely a killer tonight. And I mean, it got to the point where I was talking to Joe that we may have to create shirts for everybody that survived turn 5. I mean, going wide in that turn just one time the wrong way, and it can kill you. But you kind of need to go wide sometimes to really open it up and keep that speed in the car. So, I mean, how were you handling turn 5 out there tonight?
That's actually one of the corners that I felt most in control most of the time. Maybe I'm taking a little bit closer entry on that one, but I mean, this entire track is risk versus reward. Everything from coming out of the S's to how hard you dive it into the last chicane to pushing turn 1 and seeing what you can make stick. It's there's a safe road and there's an all-out limit everywhere on this track.
Well, it didn't take all out to get the win here in the silver division. You were able to get it with a nice smooth drive here in the 96, and you get your first win here on the season. I mean, looking at the rest of the schedule here, it's got some tracks that a lot of drivers certainly have put some laps in on, but you guys got a little bit of weather coming in the later half of the season.
Yeah, a track I absolutely adore. One of my absolute favorites is Spa, and I think that's one of the ones that you're talking about where we're supposed to have some just awful weather.
Yeah, I think it's like 96% chance of rain. I think even the wind is picked up there. I mean, it's damn near hurricane season apparently in Spa at that time of the year. But it'll be fun to watch you guys get around there, and it's great to see the size field out here. Hopefully everybody keeps coming out here. I know the first races was a bit tight there at Circuit Zolder, but you guys kind of open it up here a little bit and really get down to racing here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough difference in skill level that you find your pack and you spread out, and there even with this many cars, there's still a lot of track out there to be had.
Well, one final question in regards to that, and for maybe some of the drivers out there that are watching and maybe haven't joined the GT series, talk a little bit about the divisions and what it does for you guys. I mean, you finished 12th place overall here, but it's a win. I mean, how good does that feel that you're outside the top 10, but it's a win, essentially against your skill level?
Absolutely. That's, to anybody who's considering it, it's, if you're looking at somebody like, Dom or Mason, like, oh, I can never compete in that. Well, you won't be. That's something entirely different. Sure, they're the same cars and stuff like that, but you're really competing against your own peer group. Myself, like I have people like John and like Audi that I'm always racing with, and it's not necessarily a fight to keep up with somebody like Tilford or any of those guys any faster than me. It's all those guys that I race with, season in and season out. You're just trying to compete with where you're at and just get better. So anybody thinking about coming out, there's definitely some skill level and some competition to be had in this series.
Well, you were the top of the boards here in the silver division tonight, so congrats on the win. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Shout out to everybody who watches the broadcast and everybody who comes out and races, and you guys in the booth.
All right, buddy. We'll take some time, celebrate this one, and get ready for just one race next week, and give you guys a little bit of a break.
Awesome. We'll see you next week.
That is your winner here in the silver class, the 96 of Dane Simpson. Last but not least, Joe is going to be 5th place overall finish here tonight for the 085 of Mark Reynolds.
Hey, Mark, you got a copy?
Yes, I can hear you guys loud and clear.
Hey, man, you get a win here in race number 2. Your teammate got a win in race number 1. Kind of talk me through your first couple races here in Core.
Oh man, what a hectic day. Yeah, the first race didn't go as planned. I mean, I was in a pretty good position. I think I was around P3, and then I decided to play with some tire strategies, maybe change the rears to see if I could catch the guys up ahead. But yeah, simply just centered too hard, lost the rear end, and it was basically a recovery race from there. And that's why coming kind of into the second race, I was like, okay, just going to play it safe, don't play around with any tires. And yeah, I think I got the job done. Ended P5, had my teammates Jake, Kevin, and Ismail right behind me. So it was pretty hard to keep them away. I think Jake and I fought it or brought it right to the line. So yeah, man, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you had your teammate right there behind you, Ismail, and you guys were kind of battling there and just kind of pushing each other, top 5 of the race right there. And I think Jake was up there in the top 3 or so, I think, and then he kind of got into an accident himself, but he was able to charge back up through there and get in right behind you.
Yeah, I mean, we were in a nice train near the, I would say about the middle of the second race. So yeah, I mean, Jake did a fantastic job to catch up. I was pretty surprised at his pace, and yeah, we brought it right to the line. I mean, we said, yeah, gloves off, let's go for it. So yeah, made for some exciting racing.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're in the rookie division right now just because you ain't got enough races in, but it looks like you're going to be in that gold division. And looking at that, how do you see yourself as the season goes on here?
Yeah, definitely a competitive bunch, I will be honest. It will be tough to get a podium here. So definitely going to give it my all. I would say these last 2 tracks were maybe not my best, but yeah, the next coming tracks, let's see. Hopefully I can maybe get a podium or ideally a P1. Let's see.
It looks like Carl's got the schedule here. It's going to be kind of a lot of rain in the forecast for these races. Is that something that's going to be comfortable for you? Have you got a lot of rain in?
Yeah, I'm not the best in the rain. I mean, the tracks that are coming up, like Suzuka and that, those are kind of my favorite tracks. But in the rain, I don't have the quickest pace. Unlike Ishmael, I mean, he's just insane in the rain. His pace is, I can't even keep up with the kid. I mean, he's so fast in the rain. So yeah, I think it'll be his time to shine. I'm definitely going to hopefully get some tips from his side to get my pace up there. But yeah, looking forward to it. I'm glad the rain's in, right? It adds some excitement to the racing. So it's going to be fun.
All right. Well, hey, congrats on the win here tonight. Before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just again to my teammates for all the support and kind of their preparation, Jake, Kevin, and Ismail. So yeah, thanks to them.
Right on. Well, congrats, and hey, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
That is your top finisher here in the, as I'm moving things around here, the top finisher here in the rookie class, the 085 of Mark Reynolds. Man, it was some pretty exciting racing out here tonight. For everyone out there, if you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe and get in touch with everything that Siren has to offer, but especially right here with the Core GT series as we are back underway. And I mean, the gloves are off already for a lot of these drivers, and even here right there with Mark Reynolds and his teammate Jake Browder going all the way to the line, and yet to let you know how close it was, since you can't really see it with the the different divisions, 0.05 is how close it was for 5th place overall. So it gives you a little peek at what it could be here for the rest of the season. And I mean, we got a good one. You look even right to next week as we go to Silverstone. It's a track that it's familiar to I'm sure a lot of drivers, but maybe not so many laps on the track here, especially in the GT3 cars. And it's a track it's a little bit bigger. It's got a little bit more straightaways that they can kind of open it up here and maybe finally make some passes, set up some braking zones and things like that. So hopefully we'll get to see the field kind of settle in and maybe not have these technical sections, especially the technical track there at Circus Zoller, really kind of spread out the field. We'll see some more racing there at Silverstone coming up next week, and then the week after that, another track that everyone probably has a ton of laps at, and that is Sebring International. And those two are maybe the next ones, both dry. After that, get your galoshes out. It's gonna get nice and wet for the second half of this season. But Joe, I had a blast for these first 2 races. This is a heck of a start to the season.
Yeah, me too. Happy I can jump in and fill in and kind of get my feet wet up here in the core GT3 series, and I'll definitely be. I mean, I've been tuning in from time to time, regardless, but I'll definitely be interested to see some of these new guys, jump in like Mark Reynolds and Ismail and see what they can do here, and see if Dom can just keep his dominance going.
Yeah, I think we just need to change his first name to Dominator instead of Dominic. It's been pretty good, and I already like Ishmael Insane in the Rain. I think it's pretty close to the Cypress Hill song. I think we just need to. He's already got his nickname lined up for the second half of the season. We'll see if he lives up to the hype for sure. But it's been a blast. Hopefully everyone out there enjoyed it and is looking ready for next week, next Thursday nights here as we're back to the regular schedule. It'll be a 9:30 start for next week, and it'll be one race and one race only for them to put everything out there on the line. Thank you to my co-host here, Joe Sullivan, for stepping in. It should be Tyler Skozen back in the booth with me next week, but Joe is more than welcome to hop in and be that third man in the booth. But for myself, for Joe, and for everybody in the CRN Nation, we'll see you at the track.